So we are live, and we're waiting for people to join in. And while I share a little bit,
Awesome.
hi everybody, if you're joining us, let us know you can hear us. I'm so excited about today. We have been honored. We have an extraordinary guest. His life for me is like, wow, the epitome of success. So, and I'm so looking forward to hearing his story of hope today. So, if you're joining us, let us know where you're joining in from. If you guys can hear us, I've got Mr. Rabison, Shumba here with me. Let us know you can hear us, and we're just waiting a little bit for people to join in, and I'll be sharing also the broadcast with other people. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Hi, Pastor T, I can see you. Thank you for joining. Yes, thanks, Angie, for joining. Ropa Fadzo, thanks for joining. Hi, Bob. Nice to see you guys. So we're just waiting in a little bit more just to see if there are a few people who can join so that not many people miss this extraordinary story we've got today. In the meantime, as I share, maybe you want to greet people, Mr. Rabison Shumba, just
Fantastic.
greet people.
Awesome. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, actually. This has been long coming. So thank you so much for having invited me to be here. And to everybody who's tuned in, I encourage you to share, start a watch party. Let's have fun this afternoon as I share my story. So I think we'll be back later on to officially welcome everybody and get started. But for now, it's about anticipation. If you have any questions, I'm sure there should be a way in which you can shoot questions. If there's none, then that's fine. I'm sure we can check on the watch parties as well to see if there are any questions that you may have. But I encourage you to enjoy. I encourage you to participate where you can, but I also encourage you to learn as much as possible. I believe we can all learn one from another, and your story also needs to be told at some point. So it's not just about my story. Every single individual matters, and your story matters. Doesn't matter how small you think you are or how big you think you are. If you can share your story, you can inspire the world. So I'm very excited, Sam, for having scheduled this, and here to make a difference in every way possible. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Shumba. Yes. So this is an awesome time, and this is, I think, our fifth episode. So yeah, we keep going, yes, and we keep going. We see how far we go, and I am so excited today. Thank you for those words. Just to greeting people who are joining, as we wait a little bit more. Yes, yes, Pastor T, she's joining in from New York. Nyareza Angeline, my friend, she's joining in from New York as well. Manuko joining in all the way from South Africa. Kudzai joining. Thank you for coming. Uh, this is an awesome time we're going to have. Please invite your friends because we're going to be starting soon so that we value your time, you guys, so that, you also benefit from this broadcast. So, yeah, um, I think we're going to begin now, and people will join in as we go. So, Mr. Shumba, it's nice to have you. I don't know what you want me to call you. Do you want me to call you Mr. Rabison or do you want me to call you Mr. Shumba? What do you go with?
Just Rabison. Just
Yeah,
Rabison is good enough.
that's,
Uh,
I also love being just being called Samu. That's fine.
yeah.
So yes, so this is it. Welcome to our program, the stories of hope from brokenness to wholeness, and really the aim of this episode of these episodes that we're doing is just to speaking to somebody, some hope, someone out there. You've been going through stuff, you've been asking yourself questions. Is this what life is all about? You know, life is just life at times, and challenges and curveballs come our way from any direction. And sometimes you ask yourself questions: are these things going to end? Where am I going? Why am I even going through all this stuff? At times, we don't know that actually there is purpose even in the painful experiences of our life. So, and we want Rabison here to just share with us his story today. He is and a TEDx speaker, and he's a phenomenal speaker. He's a renowned author. He has done, I think, more than 7 publications, right?
Yep.
Yes, more than 7 publications. And he is a life coach. He is, a mentor for so many people who want to be lifted up there. And I'm sure he's open to you if you're interested after listening to his story today, to get in touch with him, to DM him, and see ways in which you can connect with him. So I am going to start by just, asking you to just tell us a little bit more about yourself, just, what you do, just so that at least I think you can be more precise about those things so that people know who they're talking to. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think you did a pretty much good job in your introduction. I'm a very multifaceted individual. I am many things in one. So there's not one thing that you can define me. I'm defined by a number of words. I write books. I'm an author. I'm an inspirational speaker. I'm a life coach. I'm a trainer. I train thousands of people. I train online or face-to-face. I run coaching sessions, mentorship programs. One side to me is that I'm a musician. I'm an entrepreneur. I run businesses. The one I run here is called Familiar Africa Group. So my background was all in terms of education and everything. I started off as a computer science teacher, became a computer geek along the way. I was an IT engineer for a number of years and went into management, worked for a number of blue chip companies, Anglo American being one of them. And along the way, also worked for Econet Wireless and many other companies in my journey. But I transitioned from technology altogether to becoming a consultant and then back into entrepreneurship again now, which is where I am. So it's been a journey, and a journey that's had its ups and downs. But I'm very excited about where I am because I'm living my purpose. It's very rare to find people that say, I'm really where I feel I should be. I'm really doing what I love. For me, the beauty is that I'm paid to do what I love.
Wow.
It's like many musicians that go on stage and enjoy their own music, they enjoy the sound of their own voice, and people pay them for them to do that. A lot of people are in jobs right now, not necessarily because they have to be in those jobs, but those jobs pay bills. For me, I have always wanted to be in a space where I do something that fulfills me, something in line with my purpose, but at the same time, we're making a difference in people's lives and also getting an income out of it. It's a process. It's not something I can say can happen overnight, and I can share as we go through this journey in terms of how I also discovered my purpose. And then now I can say, even if you wake me up, this is what I want to do, to develop people. So a webinar like this or a session like this is very much in line with my reason for existence. I always believe that if I can inspire one life, I've lived a full life. I always believe that every living human being must leave indelible marks on the sands of time. And long after you're gone, people must be able to interface with you through the work that you've done. So for me, writing books is part of that. Speaking into people's lives is part of that. Mentoring and coaching people to be even better than myself is all part of that. And the list goes on. So this is who I am in a nutshell. For me, you have to stop me if you see that I'm over emphasizing points. I'm a talking machine, a voice with an invoice. That's what summarizes my life.
Wow. No, this has been, I mean, really an eye opener in terms of really knowing the person you are. And already, when we are seeing you right now, we're like, wow, what great achievements, what amazing achievements. And now we're all curious. Did you start like this? How did it all begin? Can you share with us your journey? Because I also want to get paid living in my purpose. How do I get there, But I guess you started from somewhere, and there were curveballs in your life, and we want you to share with us, your journey.
My journey, in a nutshell, I'll try and summarize it. I'm a village boy. I was born, raised in the village. As a matter of fact, I, I, I grew up in the village, literally going into the fields every single morning before going to school. I only started wearing shoes when I was 13 years old. You can imagine winter like now in Africa, it is winter. Walking to school, pebbles pricking your feet and your bare feet. But that is my background. That's where I come from. Come from a very large family. My dad had 3 wives, my mother being the second one, and third wife being my mother's young sister. So essentially, when he died, he left me 14 siblings to look after. But my journey begins there in the village. Did my primary school in 5 years, didn't do 7 years. I skipped a couple of grades along the way. I was a bright spark, and then went to high school. I don't know about now, by the way. Back then, I can vouch. High school was similar, walking again those 12 kilometers a day, this time with some shoes at least. But the key highlight is when I finished my O-levels, and I was the second best student. Most of the subjects that were distinctions were self-taught, by the way. I took the top 4 guys. Some of them are now professors elsewhere. I'm the only one who's not yet a professor. But I took the top 4, and we said there are certain subjects that we are going to write without attending class, but there are those that we want to teach ourselves. So the school says we don't offer those subjects. We became our own teachers. I taught chemistry. Dr. Alimani was teaching physics, and somebody was teaching chemistry, the works. But we got distinction in all those subjects. But long story short, get the O-level results, and my father is getting his medical results. He's got cancer. So suddenly you can't advance to go to A-level. You've got 14 siblings behind you. You're the firstborn. Literally, your mother's young sister's kids are your siblings, as it were. So I had to make a very bold decision. I would say the key highlight of my life, where I had to say, I can't go to do neurosurgeon and go for A-levels, the luxury that everybody has. I have to find something to do now to look after the 14 kids. Otherwise, their destinies are at stake. And I've got 2 mothers to look after as well. So I journeyed into the capital for the very first time, walked all the way from what we call Mbare in Harare, all the way to Elvedetius College. No one had told me there are taxis you can take, but walking was a part of my life. So I walked all the way, got there, and I dust all the way to my forehead. And people were like, "Where are you coming from?" I said, "I'm coming from Mbare." So long story short, I did train as a computer science teacher. My life has been about risk taking, and those are some of the lessons I'll bring to people. The risk I took there was to train as a computer science teacher at a time when there were only 10 schools that had computer science, and there were more than 24 students in my stream. So people were saying, "You are literally, studying for something that doesn't exist out there. You won't get a job." So I took that risk, finished as a computer science teacher, distinction student, but lo and behold, I never got to teach. I only taught for 4 months, what we call teaching practice. 5 November 95, I'm already in private sector. Somebody heard of this bright spark again at college, who is a distinction student. In 5 November 95, I signed a contract which made me earn 11 and a half times what I was supposed to earn the following January as a teacher. And lo and behold, I'm in private sector. The list goes on. Those companies I mentioned, Anglo, and then another hallmark, another taking of a risk that I did is in 2000, setting up my business. This is a teacher who's just experienced as an engineer, but there's no business acumen at this point. I set up a business in my lounge in Harare, in the avenues, and started with 2 people. That grew. 2003, another bold decision, leaving my job to go and run that business, because it had grown 5-7 people working for me. I couldn't double up. So I left to go and run that business without business acumen. 6 years later, I left the business. Another hallmark in my life. I moved from having everything, cars, houses, to lodging, to losing every single thing called a car, to hiking. And that's 2009 when we dollarized in Zim and my business collapsed. Literally, the story of Job is what summarizes my life. I'm in America, I come back, and I've realized I don't have a business. I'm in America doing ministry. I was the music director for one of the largest choirs in Zim, Celebration Choir. And I come back from ministry in Seattle, Washington there, and I don't have a business. That's the lowest I've ever been in my life, where I literally had to feed off my siblings that I'd raised. At that point, I don't have a degree, but 9 of my siblings, I've raised them to have an education to degree level. At this point in time, they came in handy. They started assisting me here and there, but within 6 months, because I had 6 months of stress, 6 months of depression, literally went into depression. And in my 6th month, I then realized the reason why I was in depression, I can share, is that in my mind, I thought, what are people thinking about me? The mighty Rabison has fallen. That's what was stressing me, not necessarily losing things. It was about what people's perception was about this guy who had everything, who has lost it. So I felt like a failure, didn't sleep for a moment. Yeah.
I need to zero. I don't want to lose this moment. I don't want to lose this moment because I want you to speak a little bit more about that experience for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you are saying this has been the lowest you could have ever been in your life, and one of the greatest challenges. I mean, just losing everything you've built and coming home to no house, nothing. And I just want you to take us through that experience in terms of how it felt for you, as well as how it is that you managed to get out of that perception, that depression. Because I think a lot of men are challenged when it comes to issues of depression. They don't know how to process, they don't know how to deal, especially when you're coming from a place of success. And someone is sitting there, they've lost everything today, and they don't even know how to begin. Our situation back home. How did you get out of that rut? How did you get out of that place?
That's a very, very powerful question. So depressed, heartbroken, very emotional. It was a very emotional state. As a matter of fact, I was moving around like a zombie. I would get to people's offices, and all I could talk about was my problems, not necessarily about solutions out of my problem, which is a very key point, by the way, to mention. When you're in that state, you magnify your problem so much. You're focusing on how far you've fallen, not necessarily on how I can get out of a pit. And I always say the number one priority for a donkey that's in a pit is getting out, not necessarily digging the hole deeper. But I would find myself for 6 months digging the hole deeper. Very emotional. I was broken. You are a father figure. People look up to you for supplying. I was not used to getting from other people. I'm mostly a giver. So now having to rely on other people's pockets, having to walk from office to office, discussing negativity only that I see in my life. And people say, do you have negative energy? After 6 months, contemplating suicide a few times, twice actually, I contemplated suicide. I remember one night walking out of the house, hoping somebody could just stab me. For some reason, there were no thieves to stab me, or they had no knives, maybe. Or I was not attractive enough to be stabbed by anyone. And then one day I walk right onto the road and hoping some car will run me over. Fuel crisis, there are no cars on the road. So all the thoughts I had in terms of how to eliminate myself failed. But within 6 months, I then realized the number one reason why I was feeling that way was because I thought about people. I got serious advice that says, write down your thoughts. What I was gravitating towards. I started writing down, and that's how I discovered I'm in this pit because I have self-pity. I'm in this pit because I am worried about what people think and what people say. I am where I am right now simply because I am not even respecting myself and my thoughts. So I then realized this limiting factor, I need to write down everything I think about. And I connected the dots, and I realized I need to live my life. Everybody's busy with their own lives. I need to live my life and get out of the pit very quickly. When I wrote those thoughts down, I then realized what I'm passionate about is inspiring these young people that I'm leading. I'm still a church leader, though I hiked all the way to church. Some of the church members would take me from my office to which I was closing, by the way, to choir practice. I then realized that when I encouraged people, I would get encouragement back. When I encouraged others, when you invest, when you're at your lowest, just always remember there's somebody who could be lower than you. Just remember also there are people who may have it, but they also need encouragement in other areas. So you may be low, the wheel of life is such that, there's financial crisis, there is health crisis, there are all kinds of things that people can face. So realize that your problem may look big to you, but when you look at somebody else's problem, they always say, put your problems on a table. you might actually realize that you end up picking your own because that's what you're used to and you know how to live with that. So when I would encourage people, I would send them SMSs. There was no WhatsApp at the time. Fast revealing my age. There was no WhatsApp. So they would come back to me when I got feedback to say, wow, this is amazing stuff. Which book are you reading? Which gives you this level of understanding and knowledge? I said, there's no book I'm reading besides the Bible. They said, and the light bulb moment came right there. You are meant to write books. Then I said to them, send me back all those SMS messages, because they kept saying, our messages have a limit of 20 messages at a time. We keep having to delete. Do you have this written down? You see how I was pushed into my purpose. Sometimes in life you hit crisis. Yeah. And I always say, whenever you feel you've hit rock bottom, do not cry. Yes. Examine the rock. It could be a diamond.
Wow.
Sometimes in life you feel you're caught between a rock and a hard place. Again, do not cry. Blast that particular rock and create a quarry. It's borrowed from the lemons creating lemonade, literally. So I looked at the challenge that I was in was pushing me in the direction I needed to go. When I started writing that book, the book that I wrote called The Greatness Manual, and all our listeners who are here and the viewers who are here can access, I'll be able to send you or give you some of the book and you can WhatsApp to everybody. Oh, wow. I'm now making it free. It was a bestseller, still is a bestseller. Stay on Amazon, but I'll give you a free copy for the simple reason that I'm living my life, and my purpose is about empowering people, and I can't keep selling knowledge. There are times when I need to give away knowledge to those that may not be able to pay me now, but they can pay in the future through other means. So I make that book available. I'll give you another one as well along the way. So that's a key milestone. Another milestone, 2011, coming to America, being chosen as a young leader, because now I'm living my purpose. I'm now doing stuff, not necessarily generating a lot of money, but I'm empowering young people in communities. I'm going to communities like Mapuku, etc., and looking at young people and saying, look, I think I'm way better than where they are. I can empower them to become community leaders. Nice. They can solve their own problems. So I started doing a lot of that. Lo and behold, some people were noticing. I found myself again in America, there at the White House, there at the State Department, representing Zimbabwe at that point, talking about the Zimbabwean story and what we are doing for young people. That's a key milestone for me, coming to Washington, D.C. So my story goes on, but I know I've just digressed from the issue of the depression.
No. I'm loving where I mean, the story, what you just spoke about now. And thank you so much that you can actually avail the book to us. Guys, talk to us if you're there. Let us know you're watching. Let us know you want to receive this book so that I can send it to you guys. I mean, this is such a powerful story, and I am quite amazed by how you picked yourself up from that place, because it's not the story that's written in the book, right? It's usually, being at rock bottom can be so hard. But that point where you started being able to minister to others in your place where you did not have anything and from nothing. And a lot of people have challenges in terms of their purpose, and they think they have to have something so that they start moving with their life. They have to have resources, but you only began, sending SMSs to people, and you realized, oh God, there's my purpose. As people started asking you questions, you realized your purpose. And for me, that's a key milestone for me in terms of just realizing your purpose, because a lot of people ask questions. How do I even know my purpose? How do I find my purpose? How do I live in my purpose? And they're waiting for this big thing to drop from heaven for them to start living their purpose. But when a person reaches your stage, they don't know that you came from a place where you had nothing, and you had to find your purpose in the most painful experience of your life. And I'm really encouraged by that. I just wanted to emphasize that. So I wanted you to just pick on that as well, and just go on also in terms of sharing, in terms of finding your purpose, and as well as those challenges, how they become, your purpose, how they can spiral you to a place of purpose, and how you can use those lessons in your life with examples of your life. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, English says there's no dark cloud without every dark cloud is a silver lining.
Right.
So we may look even at our environments, and everybody who's watching here, you may look at your life and say, my life is not worth it. I've lost this, I've lost dignity, I lost everything. Many times we focus on what we have lost, but we don't look at what we have gained. I lost a business, and by losing the business, I gained a lesson on how to run a business. So literally, that was a defining moment. A lot of challenges we face in life are here to spare us into the future, to give us lessons. They say, don't keep falling the same way. I don't think if ever I'm going to fall in business, I will fall the same way I fell in 2009. There are many lessons I got from there. I walked away richer. The College of Life teaches you a lot of things. But like you rightfully said, this pushed me into my purpose. I have no regrets whatsoever having lost the business, because now I can advise businesses. I do teach on businesses. As a matter of fact, in a few weeks, I'm in a conference where I'm speaking for a whole hour on how to grow your business. Why is this happening? It's because I faced those calamities, but I chose not to bury my head in the sand in shame. I chose to say, what can I do with what I've seen now to create the future that I want to see? Very key point. There's no purpose outside. I can give you a number of pointers that can help you identify your purpose. One of the principal things is that you need to realize that God created you to have influence and dominion on this earth. There's a reason why God created you. And one of the conversations you need to continue to have with God is, why am I here? Where do I need to be? So I can teach you and show you a few pointers, and people can show you pointers, but ultimately it's God that gives you that arsenal to be able to go into the future in your purpose. Secondly, how do you identify your purpose? What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you do over and over without anybody encouraging you to do it? What is it that you do and you are so self-disciplined in this, you do it even if you're blindfolded? Secondly, what is it that you're fruitful in? Other people try and do the same thing, but you, when you do it, it seems so easy. You know, when I wake up and I write 1,000 words every day, and I've done that religiously for the last 15, no, not 15, it's now going on almost 10 years since the last time I wrote a book. So I do it so effortlessly, and people say, how much time did you take? I write my articles, 1,000 words. I give myself 30 minutes to write that sort of article, and I do that almost every day. I found my space and I've occupied it. Many people don't want to do it. Thirdly, I've talked about productivity. I talked about fulfillment. Productivity is fruitfulness. The third element is, what have people complimented you for? What is the one thing that you've done? You didn't think it was major, but people keep saying, oh, the way you sang that song at that funeral, we marvel at it. You know, it's amazing, and you must go into music. Or, oh, I love the way you bake the cake. You must open a confectionery business. What is it that people compliment you for? Because every single one of us has got blind spots. There are certain things we don't know about ourselves. We've lived with our limitations long enough to even annihilate the fact that we have something positive in our lives. We beat ourselves up too much. We take ourselves so seriously to the point that the good things that we do, we don't recognize them ourselves. So what blind spots do you have that other people have complimented you for? I go on, you know, what I think I talked about the first point, war according to prophecy. That's what even the good Bible says. So what have other people prophesied in your life about? Sometimes you get prophecy, and over many years you run in your own direction. You need to go back to some of those words that have been spoken in your life. They could be pointing in the direction of the purpose you need to be. Sometimes we run in a tangent and get swallowed by a fish, only to be bit on the other side of the lake, so just so that we go in the right direction. Next, you know, what would you do if you had all the money in the world? Find that one thing. Next, what do you want to be remembered for? These are key questions, and these are very sobering questions. Long after you've gone, 100 years after you've gone, what do you want to be remembered for? And that will point you into what you need to begin to do now to influence that story that you are shaping. Next, if you knew you couldn't fail, what is the one thing you would be doing? What is the one thing you do over and over without anybody reminding you? You are so consistent in this thing. So all these are pointers. Each of these questions on its own is not good enough. What's key is to combine all this, and sooner or later you start off with this big pool of things. I defined myself earlier on as somebody who's got multiple things that he does. My purpose is very clear. I'm here to build leaders. I'm here to build leaders for the continent, particularly of Africa, because we need that, as you know.
Right.
But all the things you see me do, they are not because I'm confused. They all point to the purpose.
Right.
At the center of everything I do is my purpose.
Right.
But then I ask myself, how do I achieve this purpose? I need to write a book. That's part of the purpose.
Right.
I need to do a webinar like this. It's part of the purpose.
Yes.
I need to have a business that people look up to and say, okay, there's a model of a business. That's part of my purpose. Right. Everything I do points to the one thing.
Yes.
I'm here to inspire. I'm here to build leaders. I'm here to leave a mark, indelible mark in this for the sands of time. I'm here to inspire a generation. If people I mentor, coach, and build become better than myself, I've lived a full life.
Amazing.
So that's essentially, people out there, don't look down on yourself, don't look down on your story, don't look down on the circumstances, don't look down on the negative things that have gone that you have gone through in your life. A guy called Joseph was thrown in a pit, was arrested, there's so many negative things that Joseph went through, but lo and behold, was being prepared to become a king. So understand the lessons that each and every one of the low moments are teaching. Yeah. We look up to people who have made it in life, but many times stories like the negative things that they've gone through, you never get to hear them. But I'm here to share with you that you can learn from the things the mistakes I've made. If I was in debt for 5-10 years, why should you be in debt? I've lived in that spot for you. Learn from my mistakes, learn from my story. That's why I document my stories and be as real as possible. That's why I speak from a point of experience on the things that I've come across as a way of inspiring other people not to make the same mistakes and to know what to do when they find themselves in a pit of sorts.
Wow, thank you so much. This is amazing. I am going to replay the whole part, especially this whole purpose part. For me, it's already a coaching session, because I think a lot of times we do struggle with that. A lot of people I meet, we struggle with that. How do I even know? You know, you are there and you're asking yourself that question. I think this was really comprehensive in terms of just ways in which you can detect the areas of your purpose. So, and how you can actually center your life around purpose, that he's doing all these things, but the goal and, what he's focusing on is fulfilling his purpose on a daily basis, literally on a daily basis. He wastes no day, so I really love that. So I want to
go. Piggybacking on that, the fact that you live your purpose every single day, never go to bed without analyzing. We do performance management in the workplace. How am I performing?
Yes.
One way in which I wind down my day is to examine my purpose, the things I did today.
Yes.
How many of those are pointing in the direction for my purpose? Because your purpose should be informing what you do every day.
Right.
Your calendar must be filled with things that are in line with your purpose, not necessarily the frivolous, the things that are worthless.
Yes.
So that's what I do. I wind down my day. I say, did I speak to the people I needed to speak to? Did I inspire someone today? Did I write something that will outlive me? Because a book, by the way, we write it for posterity. We write it so that it goes into palaces that you never visit. You're talking to me now simply because you maybe came across my material one way or the other. So I write not necessarily for myself, but I write also to make sure that other people out there are inspired. By the way, your microphone is now muted, just in case.
Okay, so and then I wanted to you spoke into something, because I think the other thing is, I think when you've discovered your purpose, there's also the challenge of, monetizing your purpose. How do I make my purpose my living? And at least for me, it's a question that I have for myself. So, and also welcome to everybody. You guys, if you have questions, please post over there your questions so that we can also pose these questions to Rabison Shumba, so that he can also respond to these questions. He's a wealth of experience that we need to maximize on him today. So I wanted you to really speak to that in terms of your experience, how you began, how you really managed to get money into your pocket through living out your purpose. Yes.
Fantastic. I like your question, because when I discovered my purpose, I didn't really look at money. as the driving force.
Right.
I didn't look at what I was driving. I was looking at, am I driven? I was really not looking at, I'm giving you something and I expect something in return.
Right.
Of course, you've got to recover your cost when you publish a book, for example. But, it's very essential at some point, like you rightfully say, now you now need to pay bills, you now need to live your life, live your purpose. Many people are stuck in jobs, as I said, which are not in line with purpose. Purpose is out there calling, but they can't get out simply because if I get out, this is a risk. I'm jumping out of a boat into the water. Can I really walk on this water? It's a risk. Very understandable. Remember, for me, it was a process. From your moving out of your formal employment into your purpose, sometimes there's a season. There's a principle called season. Between where you are and where you need to be is a waiting period. I had to invest in people a lot. Okay. What people used to say to me, you tweet a lot, you send out a lot of wisdom for free. Will people ever buy your books? Will you ever make money out of this? We don't have an ultimate mindset. We have an immediate mindset most of the time. Right. We are caught up in the now, not necessarily in the future where we want to position ourselves. When I wrote my first book, I still realized it online for one reason. I actually put it online at the blog and I would post every day my 1,000 words every single day online. Unknown to people, it's a theory of conditioning, which we learned back in high school, where we're saying, I think it was Pavlov who says, if you ring a bell a number of times and you associate that bell with food, next time you ring a bell, the dog will actually salivate. Okay. Same concept. And we did this in the village. This is where village wisdom comes. All right. We would go to the river. I was about to say swimming pool, but I can't call it swimming pool. We'll go to the pool by the riverside, the river to be precise, in Mashingo, which is where I come from. We would take sorghum and throw in the pool at a specific point in the pool every single day for the next couple of days. And fish also understand they can be conditioned. So at 4 o'clock, they would know food is coming. Okay. Every single day at a specific coordinates of the pool. They would, I'm sure they would communicate, they would have conversation and say, it's 4 o'clock, it's lunchtime. Okay. Let's go and eat at these coordinates. Yes. On the 7th, 8th day, in the morning, you lay the net and you are coming to give them their last supper. And then you say, Peter, raise the net, and you catch the biggest set of fish ever. Same concept. I give out a lot of content. People get addicted to the content. When they say the book is out, they want the book. When they say there's a workshop, there's a webinar, there's this, people now want it. Now people can pay full value for the investment of their lives. Wow. People can only trust you if they know you. Okay. So many people want to jump into their purpose and say, let my purpose pay me. But have you invested in people enough for them to know you? Right. People do business with those that they know, like, and trust. We can only trust you if you have given us something for us to be able to tell who you are, what you're made of. So realize, as you get in, many people get frustrated and immediately they jump out because they didn't take enough time to go through a lot of process where they are refining themselves. The initial stages are you are refining your brand, you are refining your content, you are refining your vision, you are refining your mission, all these things. You are doing even a strategic plan for yourself. Right. There are many times I spoke for free. Right. And people kept saying, you are silly. Why are you speaking for free? I went into school. I went into universities. I went into companies speaking for free. My voice did not immediately become an invoice. This was a season of investment in people. Right. Powerful. Have a austerity mindset. Have a future mindset that says somebody has to pay it forward. There are many people who were part of my talks when they were in high school. Right now, they are CEOs of companies. I get invited left, right, center. I built relationships over time. And people now say, you have an unfair advantage. No, there was a season when I was sowing, when I was getting nothing out of what I'm doing. But because I'm passionate about it, people now say, your voice now needs to be paid for. Right. So people must understand, what product are you sending out there? You want to monetize. What can people really enjoy your product? We don't invest in our brands. We don't invest in our products, and we still expect people to pay us for it. Now that's a fraudulent mindset. Fraud is like expecting money without you doing enough to invest in your skill, your talent, your abilities, your experience, so that people can pay top dollar for what you provide.
Wow, I love that. Well, for me, that was I really needed to hear that on a personal level, because I think sometimes there's a whole lot of frustration at times when you keep pouring and pouring and pouring, and you feel like, what am I even doing? But just knowing that and understanding that this is a process, and it might take a while, it might take time, but the thing is, like, people have to get used to the brand and have to enjoy it, and they have to like it. So it's about consistency. I guess what I'm learning from what you're saying is about, you just keep going, as you sow. I mean, eventually you will reap. So I really love what you're saying. Yes. So I want you to probably, I would want you to just highlight on some other areas of your life that you might want to share with us, because I think our time is also coming to an end. But I want you to pick up on some other areas of your life in terms of, speaking hope into people, and how you can actually lift yourself up from a place that is very difficult and become a person of success. Because I think I did cut you at some point wanting to zero in on some other issues. So I want you to pick up on some of those issues that I might have left out.
Fantastic. I think I left my story in 2012 thereabout, so I still have 6 years, but I'll summarize them as follows. As I said earlier on, one thing that defines my life is that I'm not afraid to take risks. I'm not afraid to jump out of the boat and experience water. You can't talk about water only from a point of research. You need to experience. The reason why our mothers left us to touch fire was for us to learn that fire burns.
Right.
So I've had to step out. I'm known as a groundbreaker in my family. There are more than 25 things which, until I did, no one else had done them. Not saying this to brag, but there's a principle of life that says you must be able to stand on your past achievements to be able to see beyond where you are.
Right.
David was able to confront giants simply because he said, I killed the lion with my hands, I killed the bear with my hands, so who is this before me? When I look at the challenges I've faced in life, and I've narrated quite a number of them: losing a business, getting into corporate space, 2013 getting arrested for something I never did, getting thrown in a police cell, and having to go on covers of newspapers for something I never did. That's a major law again. But I was never stressed by that, simply because I knew my standpoint. But lo and behold, somebody told me one day, do you know you can be jailed for the next 15 years for something you never did if you don't represent your faith right? But again, that's a challenge that I faced, a damage to a brand that was, well-meaning, going somewhere. Many people, I'm sure some of you are going to Google and find the story. You find it. I think we don't have enough time to share what the story was about, but you find it. I think it's in the top 5 things that are on Google right now. Google my name and you find that particular story. It's a deep story. So challenges, as I said, are there to shape us. So I'm now in 2013. 2015, I lost a job. Literally. And I teach about this now freely, but it was another law. I was a consultant at Econet. It's a story that many people know. And then 2015, I got fired, of course, for saying the wrong things. A life lesson right there. Think before you speak. I try and do that a lot. I try and process your emotions before you speak. These days, I walk away.
Okay.
If I feel something, I walk away. When I walk away, it doesn't mean I don't want to hear from you. Simply means if I say what I say, it could be a bomb that I will regret about. So I lost my job on the 23rd of November 2015. Again, on the street, no job, there's a family. But lo and behold, I said to myself, remain positive. Somebody heard of my story. In 7 days, I was the CEO of another company. You see why I say you are running back to corporate, Rabison, but you're a corporate person. Corporate, you've done corporate enough. You're thrown again on the street. 7 days, pick up yourself. You're now running you're CEO of another company. But you run again in that space. End of 2016, I then realized time to set up my own business. I'm jumping on a plane. I don't have money to come back. I have a one-way ticket to South Africa. I don't have accommodation. I don't have a job that I'm going for. I told you my life is about risk-taking. I landed in Tumble without accommodation. But that night, I did not sleep on the street. I slept somewhere.
Mhm.
Of course, I started again on the floor
Yes.
without a bed
Uh-huh.
on the 15th of January 2017.
Mhm.
I love these things. I take risks. I jump out. I'm the kind of person who jumps out of a plane without a parachute, and then I ask myself when I'm in the air, how am I going to land on the ground? That's who I am.
Yeah.
That's my personality.
Mhm.
They call a person like me an expressive because I take these bold steps, which sound silly, but they are there for a reason.
Mhm.
So that's how I landed in South Africa with nothing. I think with only 8,000 rand in my pocket, no accommodation, no job, not even a work permit. I just got here. And then for the next 90 days, I'm finding my feet. And then lo and behold, I said, what am I good at?
Mhm.
I can speak, make myself available, and the rest is history. Now set up a business, which is doing precisely what I love to do. So that's the story of my life. I'm writing a bio on it, but there's so many things to learn from my life. Step out there. Don't be afraid to be a groundbreaker. And don't be ashamed to tell your story. Stand on your past achievements. Stand on your history and be able to see beyond where you are.
Yeah.
God has meant you go through what you are going through for a reason.
Yes.
Always find out. And also realize there's no storm in life that does not have a best by date, that does not have an expiry date.
Yeah.
Every single storm will at some point come to pass. And in Christianity, we say, this shall come to pass. Literally meaning, even a storm, the biggest storm ever that you ever come across, will come to pass. The biggest battles you ever face in life or you ever fight in life are not out there physical, they are between your ears. The biggest battles you are going to have are around your decision making. They are around your value system. They are around, where do I put my next foot? They are around, there's danger out there, there's pain out there, but still I have to make a decision. The decisions you are going to make in life are around making sure that you still make a decision even after a failure, because life is it's a series of decisions that you make.
Right.
So I'm not. So people look at me today and say, "You've always had it right. You've always done things correctly." The decisions I made that almost floored me. The decisions I made along the way that almost killed me.
Yes.
But I continue to make decisions every single day. I continue to step out and say, "I'll do something about. I'll do what I can with what I have to create the future I want." Many of us sit on our visions because you think they need capital. You sit on our ideas because you think you need all this. You just need a good idea.
Yes.
Surround yourself with a good network. Your network is the same, your net worth. You need mentors. I've got my mentor who's watching on Facebook right now. You need mentors. Dr. Makoni, and I have to single them out. He's actually watching this program. You need mentors. You need people that you're also mentoring, because you're not being mentored just for you to just grow yourself. You are being mentored so that you pass on what you know to the next generation. So I live a life like that. Every day I must inspire someone. If there's anybody amongst you who has been inspired today, just know that I tick this box that says, I want to reach 2 million young Africans, particularly by the time I retire. And how will I reach them? Through webinars like this. So thank you for making me achieve my purpose today. Thank you for reading my books, because as you pass it on to the next person, I'm also mentoring that person through books. Thank you for giving me a voice. I never despise anybody who gives me a microphone, because many times people want to only hear themselves. But you, Samu, thank you. I honor you for having given me this opportunity.
Wow, this is you know, a lot of things said, especially when you're talking about the challenge, those times of your life that can totally put a person away, literally. And I'm amazed at your ability to spring back, in spite of the whole issue about the crime and stuff like that you were accused of, and also losing a job. Just a lot of people sit in that place. Unfortunately, they go through those pits, and they're not able to stand up. But one big lesson that I'm learning from you today is that you have to keep the hope alive, one, and also that you have to be willing to take risks. So many of us are so afraid to take that risk, to say, okay, I'm doing this, and just going ahead and doing it. And I think a lot of us are afraid of what people think, doing the unthinkable. But I guess the matter of success is doing the unthinkable, doing what everybody else is not doing, and challenging other people out there. So I am so grateful that you came today, and I don't take this lightly as well, that someone as big as you can accept to come, and just speak to people through this avenue that we are using to bring hope and to inspire somebody else. I do have a question from one lady, so I wouldn't want us to go without you responding to that question. This is Angeline Nyereza. She's saying, I am to go into business of having a confectionery. How do I invest, considering that I will be baking maybe bread or cupcakes in line with what you are talking about, the season of investing? So she's asking, you were talking about there's a season where you have to give in before you receive. So she's asking for a kind of business like this where she realized she's got a gift of baking. How is she going to bring the gift to the people so that eventually they'll start sewing back? What would you say to that? How would you speak to that?
I like the kind of business. I think I even talked about a confectionery earlier on. So I was speaking to you. I could sense in the spirit that there's somebody who's got an idea, or who's about to bet an idea. Like I said, many people look for markets out there. Charity, they say, begins at home. So when you've got a good idea, and even your family, when you have family gatherings, unfortunately with COVID, we can't gather. But when you have family gatherings, do people in your family know that you are good at this? Do people in your church, the churches always look for volunteers. Oh, who can bring? Let's do a bring and share. Simple idea. Your church has got 100 people. If everybody eats a muffin that you have baked, you are creating customers. You don't even realize you are sowing, yes, into the kingdom. But guess what? You are leaving a mark in somebody's life. Remember, people test first before they can actually commit. It's almost like you go into a shop, you try these clothes on just so that you say, I've done a good purchase. So where you are, start where you are, begin where you are. Rome was not built in a day. It was a process to actually build Rome. So similarly with the idea that you have, what you need is a good idea. But more and more, yes, there are times when you're going to give away a lot of cupcakes. There are a lot of times you're going to run this business without really making money. It's a process. It's a process. It's about understanding that it's about seed time and harvest. There's a time to sow. There's also a time to reap. So understand, you're starting small, making cakes, birthday cake. I know of a gentleman who had to quit his formal employment. He's still doing it from home. He had to quit his formal employment to really go and bake cakes. People laughed at him. He's bought a house in a low density suburb in Harare, just selling cakes. A cake is like 45 to 60 US dollars.
Yes, right.
Times that by 20 in South Africa, it's 1,200. If he makes 3 cakes, he has made a salary. And he can make it. Right now, he's making more than 3 cakes in a day. 3 cakes is somebody's minimum wage here in South Africa. That has happened in one day. So start with every business. Many people have started businesses in garages. Many people have started business in their own cars, in the boot of their own car. They have a boot sale. You go somewhere to a place and you start selling there. People may laugh at you and say, look at where they are, but they don't know you can become their employer sooner. You won't be baking for too long, my sister. You're baking now, but sooner or later you have to rise to the point of strategy where you're thinking about how to grow the business. Let other people come and bake for you. Now you've got employers. Start with your house help. And sooner or later, you now need somebody to do your books. You now need an accountant on board. You now need somebody to market your products online, create Facebook pages, and be your advocate in the marketplace. And the biggest advocate you ever have, the biggest salesperson you ever have, are the customers you already have.
Right.
Those few, as they talk, that building a network. So it's a process. Yes, it's not about jumping around with flyers. It's about working with those that you already have in your network to promote you out there. A good product will market itself. A good product will speak better than a billboard. So invest in your talent, invest in your skill. I always say, and I'll leave you with this, invest in this. You're upscaling your business. These 7 T's that I came up with. The 7 T's of growing your business. Number 1, be disciplined with time. Time. Every single day, think about your business and do things in line of building a business. The second T, treasure. Treasure is about money. Be disciplined with the dollar. It will make you until you get when you're disciplined with the dollar, you have charged over 1,000 and 1,000,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's a T. We know who you are when you have money or when you don't have it at all.
Mm-hmm.
The next T, team. As you grow your business, have a team. Be disciplined with the team. Realize these are people. These are emotional beings. So realize you're not dealing with trees or machines. They're dealing with people. Mm-hmm. People who grow your business if you look after them. People don't care how much you know, my sister, until they know how much you care. The next T, tasks. That's about projects. Run this business like a project. Be disciplined with your project as much as possible. The next T, my sister, is temperament. Manage your temper. I'm a good example of that. I lost job. Of course, it got me into my purpose, but I lost a job because of the words I said. Manage your temperament. Manage your stress levels. This is all about EQ. Manage your temperament. The next T is managing your talent, my sister. Invest in your skills, your abilities, your talents, and have the necessary experience down your belt so that when you are talented, your talent, your employability is your responsibility for those who are working.
Right.
It's not your employer's responsibility. That's why even in this COVID era, invest in your mind, invest in this factory, because this is what's creating your life or destroying it. This that you have. So invest in your talent, have the skill. But sooner or later, you'll be training other people to actually beg for you because you are talented. Know your business like the back of your hand. I think the last T I'll share is territory. Every single one of us has got a sphere of influence. Your business has got a sphere of influence. Occupy that space. Your every business exists to solve a specific problem. Understand your customer. The territory that God has given you, be disciplined with that so that you can see where you are. I hope I said all 7 T's. Yes, but it's part of a book I'm writing. So there you are. I'm preempting. There's a book about discipline around those 7 pillars. Time, treasure, temperament, talent, territory, and your team.
Wow. Amazing. So we've already benefited a little from the book that's coming. So yeah, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I believe Angeline, you have been answered. I have also gotten 1 or 2 nuggets right there, and I think maybe we would want to call this a wrap. But maybe you want to say, one last word to that person out there, just that one last word of inspiration to that somebody out there who is sitting there and maybe they're in that place where they are in that lowest place they are. And just that one word you want to say lastly to the people we have today.
Fantastic. Your growth is your responsibility. Your ideas depend on you to become the solutions that people are looking for.
Right.
Money only flows in one direction. It's the direction of value.
Right.
Become a solution provider. We have enough people who are consumers of what already is and not contributors of what can be.
Right.
So if you're out there, ask yourself, are there challenges around me? It's easier to make $1 million in Africa than it is in the rest of the world where things are working. Look at the problems around you, and those problems are pointing you in the direction of things that you need to solve. And as you solve problems, you can invoice in the process.
Right.
Yes, challenges come in business. Challenges come in life. Challenges come everywhere. We are always surrounded by challenges. But lo and behold, in the midst of those challenges, there are people who are making millions in this COVID era. We have never seen $1 million. Just by supplying PPE. As a matter of fact, I'm a trainer myself. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been training people on COVID-19. I'm not an occupational health expert, but I'm teaching businesses on how to manage COVID in the workplace. I've had to step in and do something. Always watch out for problems. One of the men I worked for, his name is Clive Masiwa. He always said, I look out for problems. I look out for challenges. I run towards challenges because challenges are the ones that bring value. Challenges are the ones that will make me exert my purpose so that I make a change, lasting change in people's lives. You don't go to a place where there's electricity and try and provide electricity, but come to rural Africa, provide solar lanterns, do something, and guess what? You have lit somebody's life for forever, perpetually. So I encourage you, all of you, go out, live your purpose. It's your responsibility to enjoy this life. Life is so short to be lived miserably. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. It's been awesome having you. I am so blessed that you accepted to come and to just pour into us today. I benefited greatly. I hope those who've been watching, I see some have joined a little later. Please do start from the beginning, so that you get the rest of the story. I see my dad also just joined. Bishop F. Tingazore. Thank you for joining, Daddy. And for everybody out there, I really trust that you've been inspired. Mr. Rabison Shumba, you are a great wealth of wisdom. You're a blessing to Africa, and thank you so much for accepting to come, and for sharing this opportunity or sharing the wealth of wisdom with us. So I am going to make this a wrap, and this is Samuel journeying with you all the way to wholeness and serving you to wholeness. I trust you guys have been blessed, and that you are going to continue joining with us. Tomorrow we have next week. Same time, we have yet another episode that's coming. So watch the space, as I'll be sharing the adverts and stuff like that. Mr. Rabson Shumba, thank you so much, and God bless you. And to everybody that joined and that's going to join the replay, God bless you, and we love you. So we are signing out now. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you. So I'm going to end the broadcast now. Bye bye.